has undergone systemic changes over the past 2 years. And while it may seem chaotic and a mess at its core, there has been a special group of people behind the scenes trying to push their narrative. The year is 2020. It's the start of a new decade and new opportunities. And the first few months go by pretty quietly until it starts to all crumple down.
The breaking news, stay at home. That is the order tonight.
Stay. Health officials in this country are studying.
The government mandates just start rolling out, no going outside, stay inside of your bubble, and do not go to work. This is simultaneously the worst and most unexpected experience most people could imagine. And while many of us learn to cope with isolation, start new hobbies, begin to work from home, there was a very powerful group of people working silently behind the scenes on a plan to change the world. And to explain that, we need to go back to March of 1938. Meet Klaus Schwab, an engineer and economist born in Germany. His family soon after moved to Switzerland for his father's work as the director of Escher Wyss AG, a large industrial company. Understandably, Klaus grew up with money. In 1971, he founded the World Economic Forum, which brands itself as an international corporation for public-private cooperation. So what really is the World Economic Forum? The WEF is an organization with 1,000 of the top companies, individuals around the world, including Prince Charles, Airbus, and BC Energy Investments. Remember them because we'll have more on them later. WEF describes themselves as independent and impartial, and not tied to any special interest, and goes on to say that moral and intellectual integrity is at the heart of everything that it does. The organization would like you to focus on a wide range of social issues that they are trying to tackle, such as the global gender gap and creating a more green economy. Both important things. But looking closer, the WEF is a lobbying organization, one that companies spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to be a part of. The cost of an individual membership is around $23,000. Industry partner memberships cost around $552,000, and strategic partner memberships cost around $630,000. With some companies making almost $1 billion per quarter, there must be a reason why these memberships are so sought after, and why 1,000 companies spend so much on them every year. March 15, 2020. The United States began a shutdown as a response to everything that was going on. On June 3rd, the royal family in Great Britain released a video called The Great Reset, where Prince Charles calls on everyone from corporations to everyday individuals to make changes in line with nature and other exciting changes, but without ways to actually create action. When you first heard the term, what came to mind? It's a scary few word that was actually chosen by the World Economic Forum as the title of its June 2020 meeting. June 2020 was a chaotic time across the globe as the COVID-19 pandemic raged on, while other issues continued to sprout in the background. World leaders were brought together to discuss these issues and left the Great Reset meeting with a few key takeaways. The WEF wants to push towards a globalized society that is run by multinational corporations and world governments, and viewed everything that was going on as a great opportunity to advance that interest. A 2020 WEF article describes the pandemic as a great opportunity to reset and reshape the world as we know it. There was plenty of discussion on how they could reshape the globe in this post-pandemic world. There were discussions on redefining social contract, changing how the world economy works, and the starting of the fourth industrial revolution, one that would be characterized as the use of artificial intelligence and other advanced technologies. Findings of this conference were endorsed by some of the most powerful people across the globe, like everybody's favorite person, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and President Joe Biden, and a lot of other leaders who were in support of the findings of this meeting by the WEF. But was there a darker secret behind the Great Reset meeting? Maybe a more sinister plan that's being carried out in secret? As more information came to light, more and more people started to believe and open their eyes to different versions of events. Was the Great Reset orchestrated to help world leaders create a new world order? As the days went by after the conference, a growing movement started online that outlined a large issue with the Great Reset meeting. Social media was just on fire as videos continued to surface that looked like the WEF was trying to force the world into a consumer-only culture. The word reset was everywhere, and people became suspicious of the fact that COVID had marked the perfect opportunity for world leaders to throw our world into a new hyper-global economy, consolidating all the power into the hands of a few leaders. What started as a small group of people on social media calling out world leaders for trying to create a new world order that left them alone at the top quickly grew into a much larger movement. The idea was picked up by political commentators and was even discussed during the Canadian election and the one in New Zealand. And more people just started to ask themselves, is the WEF in bed with political leaders around the world? Did they actually conspire to lock things down and transition into a global economy? Now, as this theory continued to grow, people took it in a few different directions. Some people have used the Great Reset to describe some very wild conspiracy theories. So how scared should you be for the future? Was COVID just a sham to create a global economy where they're going to extract all your labor from you and then just shun you to the side? Well, the truth is not likely that extreme. We are in the midst of a shift that's gonna happen whether we like it or not. COVID, stimulus checks, inflation have all created a wider gap between those who own assets and those who don't. And I believe that this gap is just going to continue as we move closer to a globalized economy. Well, maybe before, living in a first world country may have resulted in having some type of solid living standard. Nowadays, we just see things getting worse and worse, and if you can't keep your head above water, you're gonna be in trouble. Now, I really believe to prepare for the Great Reset that is happening, we really have to focus on breaking free from the system. This means really focusing on being able to take care of yourself and your family through financial freedom. And if you're always reliant on your job for a paycheck, you're just really making the elites rich and working for somebody else indefinitely while they get ahead and they get wealthier. I think now is really the time to be taking financial freedom seriously in preparation for the Great Reset.